Hi, everyone, and welcome to Book Reviews with Gabe, where I'll be giving you my honest feedback and perspective on the best-selling books available today. Now, in today's review, we're going to be diving into Mindset, The Psychology of Success, a book that has sold over 1 million copies and was authored by none other than Dr. Carol Dweck. Now, Dr. Dweck is a professor of psychology at Stanford University, whose work bridges developmental psychology, social psychology, and personality psychology, and examines the self-conceptions people use to structure the self and guide their behavior. Now, in this book, Dr. Dweck explores the different realities that individuals might encounter when operating a fixed mindset versus a growth mindset, leaving the reader to really introspect and become aware of how they've been operating and why they may be encountering certain experiences in their life. To dive in, we're going to jump to pages 4 and 5. So if you have the book, you can follow along or check these after the video. It may surprise you to know that a big champion of this view was Alfred Binet, the inventor of the IQ test. Wasn't the IQ test meant to summarize children's unchangeable intelligence? In fact, no. Binet, a Frenchman working in Paris in the early 20th century, designed this test to identify children who were not profiting from the Paris public schools, so that new educational programs could be designed to get them back on track. Without denying individual differences in children's intellects, he believed that education practice could bring about fundamental changes in intelligence. Here's a quote from one of his major books, Modern Ideas About Children, in which he summarizes his work with hundreds of children with learning difficulties. A few modern philosophers assert that an individual's intelligence is a fixed quantity, a quantity which cannot be increased. We must protest and react against this brutal pessimism. With practice, training, and above all, method, we manage to increase our attention, our memory, our judgment, and literally to become more intelligent than we were before. Now, there you have it. Originally, the IQ test was designed to prove the effectiveness of educational programs in the schools, and if there needed to be new ones created to help students get back on track. That was the original purpose of the test, not to tell you if you were dumb or smart, but to evaluate your ability with controlled material you were exposed to in your educational program. Now, this is huge because labeling yourself dumb from some test is ridiculous. And unfortunately, there are millions of people today that believe these orchestrated lies that they're being told by teachers or the system. Now, we're just getting started, so let's keep going. Now we're going to jump to page 6 and read 2 short sections. For 20 years, my research has shown that the view that you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. Believing that your qualities are carved in stone, or the fixed mindset, creates an urgency to prove yourself over and over. If you have only a certain amount of intelligence, a certain personality, and a certain moral character, well, then you'd better prove that you have a healthy dose of them. It simply wouldn't do to look or feel deficient in these most basic characteristics. Some of us are trained in this mindset from an early age. Now, in this excerpt, Dr. Dweck speaks to her research, clearly identifying how a person develops their personal views or perspectives about themselves affects how they lead their life profoundly. Also, the fixed mindset definition is shared, believing that your qualities are carved in stone, which then forces you to create an urgency to constantly prove yourself over and over. So if you are known for certain characteristics, then you will do whatever in your power to prove that you are not deficient in them, which includes avoiding situations where you might perform poorly, lying about what you actually know, or how you actually feel, or seeking a certain type of relationship to reinforce the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself as a partner. Now, some of us are consciously or unconsciously trained in this mindset from an early age. Now let's pivot and explore the growth mindset. On page 7, we're going to read a section. This growth mindset is based on the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts. Although people may differ in every which way in their initial talents and aptitudes, interests, or temperaments, everyone can change and grow through application and experience. A growth mindset is based on the belief that your basic qualities are things that you can cultivate through your efforts. In other words, through your time and effort, you will ultimately determine how you progress or don't. But you're in control. So I want to do a quick thought experiment with you. Can you remember a time when you were in grade school and experience a moment when you received a bad grade or experienced a negative outcome on a test? Take a moment to think about it. Now, did you feel guilty about yourself? Did you reinforce any negative beliefs about yourself? Like, you see, I am bad at math. How did you react? Was it in a fixed-minded reaction, like heavily judging yourself or validating a limiting belief, or a growth one, a growth mindset? Now, I'd like you to remember a recent negative experience. Now, it could be within a personal relationship or at work, professionally. So think about a moment. Now, did you reinforce a negative thought pattern or pivot your perspective about the situation to one you could possibly do something about, something that could lead to progress? Only you will know. Now, I hope you're enjoying the video and the experiences so far. You know, one of the awesome things about this book is that there are plenty of examples of teachers that are creating growth-minded environments that contributed to students improving their scores significantly across many occasions and regions, which is awesome and inspiring. So I definitely want you guys to check those examples out in the book when you get it for yourself. So now let's continue and jump to pages 157. With the fixed mindset, one moment your partner is the light of your life, and the next they're your adversary. Why would people want to transform the loved one into an enemy? When you fail at other tasks, it's hard to blame anyone else. But when something goes wrong in a relationship, it's easy to blame someone else. In fact, in the fixed mindset, you have a limited set of choices. One is to blame your own permanent qualities, and one is to blame your partner's. You can see how tempting it is to foist the blame onto the other person. Now, when you're operating in a fixed mindset in a relationship, you might have a tendency to find fault in others for negative experiences. Like in the paragraph, now when you do something wrong, it's hard to blame other people. But when something goes wrong in a relationship, it's easier to blame the other person. And for a fixed-minded person, they could either blame the other person or one of their faults, heavily judging themselves and validating how bad of a partner they can be. However, it doesn't have to be that way. You can begin to embrace the growth mindset and view the negative moment as an opportunity to learn about each other and figure out ways to navigate the situation if it presents itself in the future. Now, it can also be an opportunity to own one's faults and introspect, what might have triggered your reaction, and which usually leads to an increase in one's self-awareness, allowing you to become aware of those triggers and empowering you with the ability to either avoid them or navigate them from a place of power in the future. Having a strong growth mindset is priceless. We are entering a time where work for many industries will be impacted through AI and technological advances that are inevitable. Now, that will either excite you because you know you will embark on a learning journey and you will acquire some new skills, scare you or depress you because you feel hopeless and you feel like you're falling behind and then you can't learn these new skills. This is a fixed mindset, or a little of both, which can happen. But what's important is that you are aware of your mental state, your mindset, and make sure to pivot into a growth mindset. Now, this is something new for many of us, but just know that you are in control of how you want your mindset to develop further, either reinforcing fixed or reinforcing the growth mindset. The choice is yours. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know if you found some value in this video, let me know what stuck out to you and hit that subscribe button. Now, if you found this a waste of time, give me some feedback. I'm always looking to get better. And thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.